Hey, kids, what time is it?
Hey, we got Avengers Doomsday, huh?
Oh, it's gonna be Doomsday, all right.
It's definitely Doomsday.
Prophetic
maybe
title.
maybe not what they think, but it's a Doomsday.
So yeah, I wanted to get your thoughts on this 5.5 hour hostage situation they pulled. Can Disney do anything
I just
right
couldn't
these
believe that.
days? Like, what are they doing?
It's funny because they had that I guess advertise. I don't know how far back, back they had it advertised, but I started hearing about it from different sources, 4 or 5 days before, and I'm like, what is this exciting new thing gonna be? And it's like and I'm like, how could they have something already? Like they literally just announced this stuff,
Mm-hmm.
a few months ago. How could they have something for you already? Not that I expected a trailer or anything, but what are they planned? And it's like people were looking forward to it. They got a lot of views at the beginning of it, but it was whoever came up with this idea.
It kind of shows the hubris that they think they've still got something that people care enough about that they'll sit there all day and look
Yep.
at and watch a video or watch a presentation in an empty theater with a bunch of empty directors' chairs with names on the back, and they reveal them one by one. As if we're all sitting here with bated breath, just waiting for their what will this movie be? They're like 38th or something, 37th.
Oh my
I've
gosh.
lost
Yeah.
count.
Oh wow.
It's not like
I
this
u-
is the follow up to the original Avengers where we
no,
still,
it isn't. I used to actually have in my head all the movies that were ordered, like when it started with Iron Man and so forth, to a certain point, and then it's like they started doing all sorts of crappy ones that I didn't even go to. I said, forget it, I can't do that. So,
yeah.
but yeah, at least if they did it, not that this would make it tons better, but you're sitting there staring at a chair for 10 minutes. How about like making it for 30 seconds or 1 minute? Even that would be terrible. But like, why are you making people wait 5.5 hours to get through?
This could have been, like you just said, it could have been a 5 or 10 minute presentation, and you have the chairs and just pan down the row and just
Yeah.
give everybody a second or two to absorb the names. You get to the end, Robert Downey Jr. sitting there. Okay, right? But I didn't watch it. I didn't watch a frame of
No,
this.
I
I
didn't.
didn't. I heard about it after the fact, and I was like, 5.5 hours.
Hours. I was going to watch it and I just couldn't. And I'm glad I didn't. And the other thing is, they could have just like after each name, they could put in like just
The
a
character.
bunch of cut up scenes like from their past movie, like just a quick 5-10 second, edited, some of their best scenes or something like that. Just something to be excited.
Well, maybe
I
in
know it's already old footage, but still, you get reinvigorated by, oh yeah, that's right, that they did this, and then
But would you? Because a lot of the names on here are
uh,
from some of their
uh,
recent bombs. And
well, you're right in that case, but in the other hand, as names were going by, and I'm like, I
right, who
totally
is
forgot who
this?
they
Yeah.
were, and it's like at least if they showed something, it's like, oh, okay. I might have remembered how I didn't even go watching that movie because it was so terrible, but at least I would like put a visual
A,
together with the
a
name.
name to a character.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Well, luckily, the Hollywood Distorter did that for us. I have an article
yeah.
we can get into
Okay,
in a bit, but
yeah.
I can't quite make up my mind. Maybe you can help me. Is this hubris that they think they've still got this like world class product with the MCU, or is it more of a just ignorance? Like they don't like how many like they know their accountants know that the last handful of their movies have been
Any bombs yet?
bombs and they've lost hundreds of millions of dollars, if not a billion. I mean, what's the play here to take that much time?
I'm very perplexed as to how someone could have made this type of decision, and I don't even know how to answer your question about. Yeah, I'm sure there are people in Disney that will say whatever we put out there, there's going to be some interest or a big interest or whatever. So I guess part of it is hubris, but the problem with Disney after their initial, I don't know, first three phases, I guess I'm trying to remember all the phases now, is that they think somehow more is better, and their stories are out the window. They just want to cram, and the hilarious thing is they're following their comic books, because they started doing this with the comic books as well, where they just throw as many characters out there as possible and see what there's no coherent story. It's like, how can they come up with a story that you can follow with that many people they revealed? And didn't even reveal all the ones that are going to be on there. Who's going to come up with that script?
I think the worst kept secret is Chris Evans is coming
Yeah.
back. So, I'm with you. And I don't forget too, you're talking about Disney didn't take hold of the MCU.
That's right.
Until 2012.
That's
so
right.
It was already on its way.
Yeah.
And it's almost like they had maybe a year or two before things started kind of going off the rails. I mean, Infinity War and Endgame were great, but you could already see there were starting to be cracks in the foundation. And but I mean, they already had, and the Russo brothers are handling this, which might be the only sort of positive, because they handled the Infinity War thing, and there was a shit ton of characters in that.
Yeah,
but
true.
It was spread over 6 hours. I don't think this movie is going to be. This is a one movie.
And the audience was like, you were all in on it, because you had watched a series of 10, 12, 15 movies that led up to it. Like, you were invested.
Right.
If you started watching it from the beginning, you were invested. So that story was very interwoven. You did have a lot of characters, but there was one main storyline, and you had those characters that you were invested in from the good movies that kind of focused in on, even throwing the Guardians of the Galaxy there. You've had the Guardians of the Galaxy movies that were focused on just them, and all those characters that wound up got their own thing. You knew how they developed. Sure. But now it's like, holy cow.
I think part of it's they're rudderless because their plan was to go with this Kang Dynasty thing.
Right.
And then he got in legal trouble, the actor. Johnny, what was his name? Johnny Majors?
Oh,
Majors?
Gosh. Majors.
John Majors? Jonathan Majors? Was that
Jonathan
his name?
Majors,
yeah.
That's it.
Got himself in some legal hot water. Kind of blew up their plan. The plan was terrible anyway because they're meddling with multiverse.
Yep.
Which I've always found, even in the comics, is lazy. It's just lazy. I hate it. I think back to Crisis on Infinite Earths, which I'm rereading because they're putting facsimile editions out right now.
Oh, yeah.
And how Marv Wolfman was just enough. Let's just consolidate this,
Yeah, good for him.
And then they have since deviated yet again, but anyway, it's to me.
I was going to agree with you that their plan was, in a way, the plan with Jonathan Majors. It was good that it was kind of extraneous circumstances because that was going to lead to a really bad. Not that this is any better, but that was already going off the rails with that plan.
Yeah, the problem I see with this, and maybe if we go into, the article lists the actors, I guess we can just kind of go through that, is, spoiler alert, they've brought back the Fox X-Men universe.
It's not, it's not spoiler for people who've
already
seen this. So yeah, that's one of the curious things I had. Wow, they brought back the Fox characters.
Which tells you right away we're still dealing with multiverse stuff.
Yep.
And I thought Deadpool Wolverine kind of put that to bed, but apparently not. This will be Charles Xavier's fifth. How many times has he died and come back? The Patrick Stewart version.
Oh gosh, I can't even.
He died in X3. He died in Days of
Wow,
Future Past.
you actually know more, remember more than I do.
He died in Logan. He died in Doctor Strange, POS. So yeah, this will be the fifth. Oh yeah, this will be the fifth incarnation of that character. They'll probably kill him again too.
I have kind of a mechanism in my head that kind of throws out memories of those X-Men movies automatically without conscious thought. Only because they are very personal. It was personal to me that a lot of those movies weren't good, and X-Men was my thing.
Yep.
the longest times, and I'm like, why you couldn't even get it right with these characters, and now they're not going to get it right for sure. But
I know. I mean, I understand why back in the year 2000, especially with Tom Rothman in charge of the studio,
yeah,
didn't understand what he just was like hoping it would bomb because he didn't want to deal with superhero movie. So they had not a lot of money. They prioritized what they could, put them in black letter. I get why they did that.
yeah,
But they had chances to retcon it and still didn't. I think of like First Class. That's where you could totally fix it, and they sort of, but didn't. So
they also took the storyline that was very personal to me, personal because I like it to me, not because I have any personal relationship, but personal about the Phoenix. Twice they completely bombed on both of those. I mean, really.
I thought like X3 butchered it so bad. There's no way you could do it any worse, and they did. They were like, "Hold my beer, watch. We could make a worse one."
For a story, for anyone who knows that story, for a story like that, you had Scott Summers dying off screen. What the hell does that mean? Are you kidding me?
That's because Marston went to make the new Superman movie.
Yeah, that was what we could like do a video for. We could opine on just that.
Maybe someday we should opine on the Fox X-Men franchise. And then Days of Future Past wasn't close to the book, but at least it was. I think of the movies, probably the most well done of all of them.
If you were someone who's just watching it you weren't big on the story, you didn't have exposure to the story, it was a really well done movie.
Yeah.
I have a lot of gripes because of the differences to the
like
story,
sending Wolverine back instead of Kitty.
Yeah. Right. That's one of the big ones. Yeah. But if I go into it like this is a movie like just that. Like, I don't know anything about the X-Men. Let me watch this movie. It was pretty good. Actually.
Yeah, I think out of all of them, it was, I think, the best one. And then they butchered the Apocalypse thing one movie later. That was, especially casting, what's his face there? Poe Dameron. Oscar Isaac, he's a fine actor. I don't have anything against the guy, but he's like 5'7".
Yeah.
That was a role for Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson or something, So
I have to say, I really liked Olivia Munn as Psylocke there.
Yeah, I did too.
That was good.
I did too. All right, so I'm going to pop up this article here. The Hollywood Reporter. Marvel unveils Avengers Doomsday cast with MCU mainstays and X-Men and Fantastic Four stars. Also a ballsy move because we don't know if the Fantastic Four is going to work or not, right?
Right. They're taking it. They really have to. That movie's got to do very, very well for them.
Right.
And hopefully it will. I'm actually, right now I'm looking forward to it.
Me too.
I hope it does do well.
The tone of that simple teaser, the tone felt right at least.
Yeah.
And if you're not reading the current run of the book, you should because it's perfect. Like it feels like a throwback Jack Kirby, Stan Lee kind of thing. So the article goes right off the bat. It says there's some big names that are missing right off the bat, like Tom Holland and Chris Evans.
Yep, that was it.
So Spider-Man, despite their best attempts at making Kamala Khan the face of the Marvel Universe, Spider-Man still is the face of the Marvel Universe and Marvel Comics.
They're still trying. They tried to throw her into the new Daredevil Reborn again.
Oh my God.
They're still trying to throw her in there.
That episode was awful. That episode was so bad. So the cast will start with the first chair. Chris Hemsworth as Thor.
Yeah, that's a good start.
Yeah. So I heard a little anecdote that Chris Hemsworth was at the premiere of Love and Thunder, and at the end it says Thor will return, and he turned to someone and said, "I am."
I remember saying Thor will return, but I didn't know about that.
Nobody told him, hey, look, why would he say no to an easy paycheck?
I know, which tells you, going back to your original thing about their hubris, where they figure they can say whatever they want and people will respond to it. Like they hadn't even talked to him about it beforehand, and they're just going to throw that in there, so.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you saw some of the press junkets for the new Captain Checkbox or Captain whatever people are calling him. fake Captain America,
Oh, okay.
Brave New World. Harrison
Captain
Ford. They
Falcon.
asked Harrison Ford what he was, why he got involved, and he said, "Oh, I heard I got to get some of that sweet Marvel money." So like, it's still like, the agents and the actors, and they all still think these are like mega grossing products. And some of them still are. Spider-Man: No Way Home
Yeah.
made almost $2 billion, but this movie, when we'll get into that too, is going to need to make a lot more than that. All right,
Oh yeah.
back to the article here. The other thing, actually, before we go back to the article, I think Hemsworth also wants to fix Thor. I think he's kind of pissed off, like that they turned him into an absolute buffoon, and a lot of that's his own fault.
Yeah.
He was saying he was getting bored with the character. He wanted to do something different. They took it in a different direction, and then they dialed it to 11 with the stupidity.
I liked the initial thing, but I forgot already the movie, and you were the first one to
Ragnarok?
tell me. I actually liked that movie
Just because it was different, I liked it too.
because it was different. But then it just went way off the rails. Like Love and Thunder was horrible, and they actually pretty much almost fixed him by Endgame because he came back with a rat. Remember that scene where he regains a new hammer and he comes in
Yep.
and he just like nails a bunch of Thanos's army and he's like very angry and stuff like that. And like that's back to the old Thor and
Right.
it was great. But then to follow that up with
Love and Thunder, he was a
Thunder
buffoon
was
again.
absolutely the worst.
They turned him into a frat boy at a kegger. Is what they turned him into.
Yeah.
And first they made him Lebowski, then they made him a frat boy.
That's right, Lebowski.
They need to get back to, and I get why he was bored playing the stoic, boxed in Thunder God, but but that's, I'm sorry, read the books. That's who he is.
He is
as simple as that. So who's next on the list? The next chair was Tom Hiddleston as Loki.
And we've seen him die too, but that doesn't
several times. But sometimes he's faked his death because
that's true. That's true.
He's the god of mischief. Yeah, I mean, he's got those. I haven't watched a frame of those two streaming series with him, so
I'm actually glad it's Tom Hiddleston playing. I was afraid it was going to be another character kind of like where they play into how Loki is a trickster and can change appearances, and I was afraid they were going to get a female
Loki
actress to play, to saying that he's like the female version of Loki, which they're right, he can change appearances, but I'm glad it's Hiddleston because I liked him.
Well, they have that. They kind of did that in the streaming
show.
I
know they did. I know
they sidelined him in his own show.
I know. Yep. That's what I was afraid of, but
then
they have him.
Yeah. Next up, they list him as Anthony Mackie, Captain America.
Yeah.
He's not Captain America.
Not Captain America.
He's Captain Falcon.
Failed in the comics, failed in the movie, this recent movie. I don't know why they keep doing it.
It's almost the Kamala Khan thing. Like they're just going to keep ramming it down your throat till you say mercy. All right, fine.
No, we're not doing that.
Which a lot of people think this is why Chris Evans wasn't announced at all, because then what do you say, Captain America?
Right. So at some point they will announce, but they don't want to have him upstage Anthony Mackie.
And this is nothing against Anthony Mackie. I think he's a phenomenal actor. I remember the first time I saw him was in We Are Marshall.
Oh,
and his performance blew me away. He was so good. He's a great actor, and he was a perfect choice for Falcon. It's just that whole thing where you're it's the hand-me-down T-shirt thing. Like you can't legitimize his character unless he wears hand-me-down T-shirts from Steve Rogers, and then you also ruined a great original character in Falcon.
Yeah,
there was no reason.
I absolutely love Captain America: Winter Soldier, and where you first see it, and I thought he was great in that.
One of the most memeable on your left.
Yeah,
right?
That's what I mean. I love it.
And they brought that back in Endgame. All of a sudden, on your left.
Yeah, I was watching. By that time, Abby was way into these MCU. She's like, we went to the opening of Endgame. It was like this almost midnight showing of it. And when that happened, I like afterwards, I asked her, "Do you know what that meant?" And she didn't know because she didn't start watching the MCU until much later. And I explained it to her, and she goes, "Oh my gosh, that's awesome!"
Yeah, that was a nice callback. Gave me goosebumps actually, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
because I didn't really enjoy Endgame. I thought it was like a mess.
You know, yeah, that sort of goes back to what I was saying about how they thought more was better, but it wasn't, and it was a mess with all those characters. But what I love about Endgame is, and we can do this some other, video, is there's certain scenes that I love that were like between just two or three characters, and I have like at the beginning with Tony Stark and oh gosh, I can't believe I forgot her name. Um,
Oh, when they're on the ship and he's dying.
when they're on their ship and they're like having that interaction, they're playing that game, and they know it's only a matter of
Playing
time, and
the football
but they're
game.
like, yeah, they're keeping each other and I just love that scene. It's like I loved all the scenes like that are more personable with
The
the
character
characters.
moments. Yeah.
Not this big thing where everybody's like free for all type. I didn't like
Yeah.
that.
And I hated killing Black Widow, and
Yeah,
it
there's
just,
that.
I don't know, just some things just felt, I don't know. And I hate the scene I hate the most is Steve Rogers going, "Oh, I do have a nice ass." Like, I hated that. Like, that's getting into the Thor frat boy kind of,
The scene I hated the most was in that fight. It's like, really, you're all of a sudden you're in a free for all with all those forces, and all the female characters are all gonna kind of gather in
that
one
was
area.
horrible. That was horrible.
That makes tactically no sense at all.
Jackie was sitting next to me, and all I heard was, "Oh,
Yeah. And why would it matter if all those female characters backed up Captain Marvel? You obviously have Captain Marvel as completely overpowering all of them put together. Why would it matter if they're helping her? Like she won't be her alone, meaning they're gonna help her. It's like, why? You guys can't even like hold a candle to her powers the way they powered her up. So
Well, that was around the time Kevin Feige started to say in the press that going forward we're going to replace most of the male characters with female characters, and we're going to make it the MCU.
Didn't work that so well.
No. Next up, we have Paul Rudd as Ant-Man.
They tried to make it cute by being a small chair. Did you see that?
No.
They made his director's chair really small, like
Okay.
kind of like, really, that's gonna save your 5.5 hour stream.
Which is fine. Paul Rudd's, I think he's fine as Scott Lang. I have no problem with it. It's just, okay.
And again, I like a lot of his stories in his own film, but as part of this big, it's gonna be meaningless.
That last Ant-Man was
the last one
was an abomination.
Yeah.
I went to see it because I got it for free. Like, IHOP was doing a promotion where if you bought like, X amount of breakfast, like, you spent like $40 on your breakfast. You
Fingers.
got a free ticket to Ant-Man. So I got that. And oh man, I couldn't wait for it to end. That and Doctor Strange, I went to those two and I couldn't wait for them to end.
Oh, the I forgot what it's called. Just madness. Something bad. Madness was the key word there, but it's like that was awful.
Next up, this is Letitia Wright listed as Black Panther.
As Black Panther, really?
Another colossal mistake. I mean, Chadwick Boseman was awesome. There's no arguing it. It was such a travesty to lose him. Just a tragedy to lose him. But they should have recast him. I'm sorry. I mean, just to go forward and I always thought, I saw Tenet. I said, there you go. Denzel Washington's son would be a perfect replacement.
Yeah, he'd be good. I mean, make a decision. Either recast him or forever in the MCU, you have the death of a character that's not coming back.
Right.
If you're going to do that, don't do this. I mean, and you could have his sister there as someone else. I mean, she's her own character in her own right.
Exactly.
But not as Black Panther.
I'm sorry. She's like 65 pounds soaking wet. So at the risk of taking 5.5 hours to do this, we'll speed it up a little bit. Next up, Simu Liu, Shang-Chi.
No idea why he's there.
Because nobody went to see the movie, so they're going to make you like him.
And I think that is the basic thing about this, about throwing all these characters in. Like, these movies bombed, a lot of them, and they're like now we got to shove them in front of everybody just to try to get them reinvigorated for further movies in the future that are not going to bomb, but they are.
Right. So you got the first 4 names are from the Infinity Saga, the Infinity, the Infinity Stone Saga, and now we're getting into the Phase 4, Phase 5 debacles.
Yep.
They're trying to squeak them in there. Because the next one up, Danny Ramirez, who is listed as the Falcon.
Yep.
Who is the most generic-looking Falcon It's like in like khaki green or like a military green outfit with a helmet. He looks stupid. Why didn't?
I mean,
so if
yeah.
if Anthony Mackie's going to kind of take Captain America's kind of suit and it's a little modified, but it's the same basic design. Why wouldn't he have the Falcon's old suit and kind of modify it to his right?
Yep.
And I didn't bother go seeing the new one. I could. Care
I didn't
less.
either.
Could care less. And then this guy I do like, who also could have taken over as the new Black Panther, Winston Duke M'Baku.
Yep.
That would make more sense if he took over as Black Panther. The guy's
That would make more sense. And I like him too, but it's like you're still putting how much screen time can any of these characters, like how much could they get that would make them, vital to the story? What kind of story are you going to write to give these people some importance? I don't know.
I don't know.
I agree with you. I like him, but it's like, what story are you going to write that he's going to be important to it?
Well, yeah, he was always a supporting character. Yeah. That's why I said the only way he would really work is if he took over the mantle as Black Panther.
Yep.
And he's a big dude.
He is.
Did you see The Fall Guy? The movie The Fall
Oh,
Guy?
yes.
Yeah,
I
he's
did.
in that. He's great in that too. Next up, I'm sure you're excited about this, Edson, because I know you're waiting for this movie to come out, The Thunderbolts. So the first
Whose
name.
idea was this?
Oops. Why does this keep happening where I click on a name and the thing goes Sebastian Stan as the Winter Soldier? Okay.
I mean, I definitely want him in there, but not as part of the Thunderbolts.
We like
He would have been good. If you don't want to have Steve Rogers, he would have been a good Captain America.
He was in the comics for a long time.
And even then, for people who are going to say, "Oh, you want the white guy instead?" No, he himself by his own admit, he was there temporarily. Like he wasn't there as a permanent Captain America.
But it just makes more sense because.
But it makes more sense.
He's got the super soldier serum, just like Steve. Anthony Mackie, the Falcon, does not. What's his name? Sam Wilson does not have super soldier serum. I'm
Plus,
watching the.
He has fought with Captain like all those years. He knows his moves. He knows how to throw his shield. He can hold his shield with the metal arm. I mean,
I know. It's just. I'm watching those trailers for the new Captain America, and the Red Hulk's just punching the shield, and Anthony Mackie's behind him. I'm like, he should be oatmeal. He doesn't have super soldier serum. He's like I am. I'd be pulverized.
Yep.
Florence Pugh as Yelena Belova, the new Black Widow. She's in the white leather. She's in the white leather, so she's the White Widow. This is another one. They're like. Yeah, this is the new Scarlett Johansson. Deal with it.
Yep, that's it.
We're like, and it's nothing against Florence Pugh. She's actually a great actress, but
yeah, again, it's another character you have to try to weave into the story, and how are you going to do it?
And it's because they killed Scarlett's character off.
Right.
Wyatt Russell as U.S. agent.
He was just in that series, right? Falcon. And,
he was the. Yeah. Okay. No problem with it. It's just a generic character.
Yeah, just a generic character.
This one drove me nuts. David Harbour's Red
Guardian. I agree. Red Guardian. I have no idea why that character's anywhere near a story like this.
Why did they make him so dumb?
Yep. He's just there to take all the crap from the female characters.
And he shouldn't be Red Guardian. He should be Omega Red for starters.
Right.
And David Harbour's awesome. I love him in Stranger Things. Why they made him so dumb so he could be a punching bag for the whammies?
Yep, he's just there as a punching bag. Exactly right.
This character was terribly represented. Ghost.
Another one.
Hannah John Kamen. I don't know. Yeah. Wow.
She was in that. What was it? The first? Was it the third Ant-Man?
Second Ant-Man.
Second. Even then, we're in a movie where you can have fewer characters. I'm like, why? I don't even. I couldn't get into this character at all, even in that movie. But this one, where she's going to get lost.
That character's hard enough in the comic books to kind of appeal, and they didn't even come close to making the character that good in the movie. It was. And Lewis Pullman listed as simply Bob.
Love how they do that. Character simply as Bob.
Bob?
Yeah, he's supposed to be like this really super powered. I forgot what the heck name that he has other than Bob. I
Is he
can't.
like a kind of like a MODOK kind of thing, or
No, it's like this like somehow he got like within. I remember this. It was in Bendis's Avengers run that I read about him, and that run is really good. But this character was like the Sentry is what I was trying to think.
oh, the Sentry?
Remember the Sentry?
Yeah, that character. Yep.
I don't know why they're not calling, but in the before he was called the Sentry, they always called him Bob. It's
Oh,
like,
then
I
they're
don't know
probably
why.
going to tell his origin in the Thunderbolts movie, probably.
Most like, oh, that's a good point.
So they don't
That
want
would
to,
make sense.
yeah. So
That
they
would make perfect sense because they don't want to ruin it before the Thunderbolts comes out.
right.
I think that's what is happening.
Now, I think the article missed someone, the
Oh,
Taskmaster, that
oh, that's
terrible,
right.
another horrible adaptation. I, I don't, I'm borderline love with Taskmaster in the comics
Oh, and yeah,
because Taskmaster's funny because there's a little bit of boobery that goes along with the villainy, right? Like sometimes
yeah,
Taskmaster kind of screws up a little bit. And I like
yep.
that. And that was awful in the Black Widow movie. That was awful.
They played him so bad in
Not
Black
only
Widow.
that, it was you could tell it was a man until the
Yeah,
mask came off, and
and
then
then
all
the
of a sudden
mask
it's a
came off. They
woman.
want to
It's
make.
like, yeah, no,
I remember in the comics when he took on the Avengers and he was taking on like all their individual ways of fighting style and stuff. He's kind of like DC's version of the Terminator, I guess.
yeah,
Uh, and he was at least when he was introduced, he was a pretty cool villain. But
yeah.
here,
He's had a few runs in the Spidey books, and of course, Spider-Man kind of makes fun of him for being like a B-lister, you know.
yeah,
Um, and then we get into the cast reveal. Also included X-Men actors. Patrick Stewart as Professor X. My God, I'm so sick of this doing this to me. Oh man,
it.
I wonder if the battery's going bad in my mouse here.
Oh,
I click on the name and the whole thing turns blue. And yeah, Patrick Stewart is Professor X. Patrick Stewart's 84.
that's one issue. It's like when is this supposed to come out in 2026?
Yeah.
He'll be what 86
Well, I
by
mean,
then.
clearly they're already shooting it. And they might have already shot his scenes. I'm sure
Maybe.
he's probably a one-day shoot. I'm
Yeah,
guessing that these older guys like him, and we'll go back to the article, Sir
Magneto.
Ian McKellen as Magneto. So you have Sir
Yeah,
Patrick Stewart
yeah.
and Sir Ian McKellen. I mean, it's cool. I love those two guys, but I mean, Patrick Stewart looked feeble in Picard.
Yep,
I guess the upside is he's in a wheelchair, so he could sit there and deliver his
that's
lines.
true.
Um,
But the thing that you just said, and I agree with it. Like, oh, they're probably already trying to get their shots done early. But the thing is, it's like then either A, they rush the script together that is going to be crappy, or B, they're just doing this as they go along. Oh, let's just write a story around what we. It's like it's either way, you're going to have a really bad story.
well, that seems to be the Disney modus
I know,
operandi of
I
late,
know.
is that they will, you know, how many reshoots have they done on some of these
Yeah,
movies?
that's true.
I mean, they
They do go
reshot
back
the new
for
Captain
reshoot.
America like 3 times, almost the whole movie. And that's because
Yeah,
they make movies by committee now.
yeah.
So I wouldn't doubt that that's what they're doing. They're going to get this in the can. They're going to see if they can jam it in somehow.
And
If
then
it
they
doesn't
somehow
work,
get
they
it.
might have to reshoot it or use AI.
Oh yeah,
You
that's
know,
true.
yeah. So that does not bode well either way. And then James Marsden is back as Cyclops.
I like James
I
Marsden.
like him too. I love him in the Sonic movies as the Donut Lord. He's great. When I first saw him, though, you have to admit, I know they butchered the characters of a lot of these X-Men in those movies, but when he first walked on screen, I said, "Oh my God!" Like he stepped out of the book. He looked.
Oh, they
He
nailed it
looked
from
just like him.
who he was.
Yeah.
They just didn't nail it from like his actual
Right.
character from his characteristics from the inside character. You know what kind of person he is. They didn't nail that, but you're right. From the outside, yeah, they nailed it. Yeah,
Yeah. Rebecca Romaine is back as Mystique.
and she was pretty good at Mystique.
Yeah, I have no problem with that. So they will be also joined by Nightcrawler. Alan
Oh,
Cumming is
okay.
coming back as Nightcrawler, and Kelsey Grammer is back as Beast.
And Kelsey Grammer must be up there too. I don't
Kelsey
know.
Grammer's got to be around 70, right?
Yeah. For playing he probably won't play Beast this way, but the Beast, if you read the comics, is a very agile,
Yeah.
active, very active, and but he might be playing his like cerebral side where he's just like doing research and stuff like that too.
But it's interesting that they didn't bring back the X-Men First Class actors who are much younger to play their, they had Beast and Mystique and, Magneto and all them as younger. It might have been easier. I don't know why they're bringing back all these old guys.
You're right. The younger generation would have been better.
And Channing Tatum, who wanted to play Gambit in a Gambit movie that never happened, will be back after making his Gambit debut in Deadpool and Wolverine.
I mean, I don't have anything good or bad to say, but I just, once again, it's another character that you're going to try to stuff into a story.
Yeah. This reeks of multiverse. Reeks
Yep.
of it. Now, members of the Fantastic Four are also in the cast, including Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, Ebon Moss-Bachrach, and Joseph Quinn. So the Fantastic Four will be in this. Will this be the vehicle to get them in from? Because I think their movie is in an alternate universe because it's like retro 60s.
Yeah.
How do you get them from that to the main
current?
Yeah.
That would make the most sense.
And that's probably how you also finally eliminate that X-Men cast. You bring them in and get rid of them at the same time. Who knows? But now some of your favorite characters, Edson. I'm going to butcher this name.
I don't know how to say their names.
Tinoch Huerta Mejia, who played Nemora.
And of course, they couldn't even get his name right.
Well, they didn't have the rights, right, at the time? I don't think they had.
Oh, is that why they pronounced it that way?
Because they didn't have the rights to the character, because he was part of the Fantastic Four universe over at Fox.
Oh, that's right. And they didn't even use the term Submariner.
Right. Now they have a chance to retcon that as well. Yeah.
Another movie I didn't watch,
So according to this article, that was 26 actors. Was that 26?
I mean, I think so.
I don't know.
I didn't start counting, but
then of course they get to the last chair and there's a human being sitting in it, and it's Robert Downey Jr., who's playing Victor Von Doom.
Oh, they actually did it every 12 minutes. What a freaking shit show that
right?
was.
Every 12 minutes.
12 minutes. You're just gonna you're gonna keep people hostage there, and they're gonna go off and they set a timer on their smartphone and say, okay, the 11. No, seriously, because some people did. I didn't, but.
It's funny because, again, you and we didn't watch this, but it says the music from the actor's movie would play, then the camera would shift to the next chair, and it would swell on the Alan Silvestri's Avengers theme. So they didn't, like you said, why didn't they show stuff in between?
Yeah, and right, you have all that time. You could have edited something together. You couldn't edit something together in between the chairs that keep people entertained. That would have kept people there longer, or kept your audience from the beginning. Because I know at the beginning there was an influx of audience, and then it kind of went down as it went by. So
who's gonna want to sit there all day? Once you see, especially when you see how slowly it was paced. I mean, it's gonna be interesting when they do their Hall H panel at Comic-Con in San Diego. Good God.
And you said Tom Holland, Chris, and Hugh Jackman are they going to bring him in?
Where's Benedict Cumberbatch?
Right, Doctor Strange.
You'd think with multiverse you'd have Doctor Strange and Wong, right? Where's Wong?
Right.
But that's not the worst of it, Edson, because we're asking who's missing. Well, the Mary Sue.
Oh, right. There's that too. That's right.
The Mary Sue got really upset because all of a sudden the MCU became the MHU again, and they're not happy. We don't have to spend much time on this, but they are
Yeah, but
pissed off.
let's face it, they're never gonna. Didn't matter. They're not gonna be happy about anything. Yeah, you could have had like I don't know, 80% female characters. They're still not gonna.
But here's the best line from this article. Can I read this to you?
Oh yeah,
One woman from the X-Men, no Carol Danvers, Monica Rambeau, and America Chavez missing.
that's their. That's what they're. That's where
Don't
they're
you
gonna
guys
hang.
need your new Hawkeye? No witches or Scarlet Witch? She's not there.
That's another one, Elizabeth Olsen, which I would have been fine with her.
Oh, that's right. Lewis Pullman was Bob in Top Gun Maverick.
Oh right,
That's
why they call him
interesting.
Bob. But
That's interesting.
what a coincidence, because in the comic book run, that's what they called him.
That's
What
funny.
is going on here?
That's funny.
Holy cow!
Actually, and that guy Joseph Kaczynski, who did Top Gun Maverick, would be a good candidate to take over one of these films,
Yeah,
and get it back on course. So yeah, this could be. I mean, if you're going to be dimension hopping or multiverse hopping, this is how you can get the Vision back in. And I think I'd love to see the Vision back. You killed him,
he's
bring
gone
him
too.
back.
He wasn't there.
Right.
Oh my gosh!
And they could
There's supposed to be a Disney Plus series on them.
Vision and the
Cool.
Scarlet Witch.
Oh, what the heck is it called? Vision something.
Well, I know you're mad that Agatha Harkness wasn't on this list.
She shouldn't be anywhere near there, but
Or Echo.
that's another one. Jeez.
Yeah.
But Elizabeth Olsen, I'm shocked that she's not there.
Yeah, maybe she wanted nothing to do with it. Who knows? I mean, she did already have her universe-killing movie with Doctor Strange.
That's true. And I knew Scarlett Johansson wasn't going to have any part of this too. So.
Well, she's too busy killing dinosaurs in the new Jurassic Park movie. We got that to look forward to. Jurassic World, Jurassic Park 7, Jurassic World 4, extinction level at the box office. It looks awful. My daughter, she's 12 going on 13. She says, "Dad, that looks awful. Looks like they just mailed it in." And I said, "Well, here's what you need to understand. Usually with these IPs, the studio has to make a film within a 5-year window to keep the rights." Yep. And they make a lot more money off merchandise and all this other stuff in the old movie. They want to keep that. They don't want Paramount or somebody swooping in and taking away the Jurassic.
Yeah, good. Yep.
So, yeah, they did mail it in. They made a generic, stupid, dumb dinosaur movie. Let's talk about what this is going to cost real quick.
I don't even know how we can come up with. I mean, I'm talking about like 500 million is the floor here.
I agree.
With all those people, I heard. I mean, I haven't confirmed this, but Robert Downey Jr. alone is getting 80.
80, I heard.
Was that?
And I think the Russos are getting around the same, aren't they? Or 120, I heard.
Yeah.
Like
so
you're at 200 million with the directors and the lead actor.
One actor.
One actor. And Hemsworth won't come cheap.
How could they possibly think they're going to make their money on this, even without even shooting anything?
Let's say,
given the recent, box office.
Let's say the cast stays where it is. They don't bring Evans. They don't bring Holland. They don't, unless they do quick cameos, which is a day rate.
Okay.
Which might be, they might get around stuff like Ian McKellen, Patrick Stewart with
maybe
day
that.
rates.
Yeah, that definitely will be that way.
But still, you're right. I think 500 million is the floor on this thing, because this is going to be an effects-heavy movie, regardless.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Diverse, yeah.
So even the second-tier actors, Anthony Mackie, Paul Rudd, Tom Hiddleston, those guys aren't that cheap anymore.
Nope.
They have a track record here, and they're going to Sebastian Stan. They're all going to be worth their money. Yeah. Wow. I'm thinking
all the people in the Thunderbolts, they'll be like, "Oh, we're A-listers on this movie. We deserve this." All the people in the Fantastic Four, for sure.
If the Fantastic Four is a hit, which I don't think it's going to be, but let's say it is, are they going to turn around and demand more? Like, we're the first successful Marvel movie you've had in how long?
Yeah.
We want our We want bonuses attached to this, or who knows? Who knows? I mean, this is going to be fun to watch, but I think it's a disaster in the making. I think they're it's like that thing where you go to a buffet and your eyes are bigger than your stomach.
Yep.
It kind of feels like that to me. And my stepdad used to say, you can take whatever you want, but you eat what you take. I think this is going to be a mistake.
The bottom line is the attraction, at least my attraction to a movie is the story, and they cannot have a coherent story with this. So I think it's impossible to do that.
It reeks of nostalgia bait. If you're trying to get people interested by bringing back the old X-Men and stuff, like,
yeah. Like they say, all those people who watch those movies, they're gonna definitely check. No, they're not at this point.
Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doom, like that's a huge problem for me right there.
Yeah,
and I think it's gonna be a horrible backdoor way to get Iron Man back in there, especially if it's a multiverse thing.
Yeah.
Or like my theory is, he's Dr. Doom in that universe, but something's gonna happen. He's really Tony Stark, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. There's another version of him that's Tony Stark.
I definitely think he was Tony Stark and probably orphaned as Tony Stark and probably got adopted by the Von Dooms, I guess. And
probably
because you have the story all built in there where Winter Soldier killed Tony Stark's parents.
Mm-hmm.
All you have to do is have him kill him when he's like really young, and then he gets adopted by the Von Dooms, and there you go. But,
yeah,
and then you get this redemption thing because no villains aren't villains anymore.
Right.
You have to redeem all the villains,
yeah.
and all the good guys have to have a big problem. Have to have like they're really not that good.
They have to like Thor. Like, will they have another subplot where Thor goes off to find himself yet again?
Oh,
because he's not sure of who he is for
again.
the 9th time. Yeah, no, I'm with you, and I just Dr. Doom, Victor Von Doom's pretty much as smart as Tony Stark, so it would make sense that you could make that parallel. So he's just the evil Tony Stark.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know. It just reeks of desperation. Like,
yep.
We've bombed, so we got to go back to what worked. Get all these old actors back, bring them all back. Bring back Hemsworth and Hiddleston, and let's go back and get the Fox universe in here. People love Patrick Stewart. Who doesn't love Patrick Stewart and Sir Ian McKellen, right? Even though they'll probably have one scene each, but it is what it is. I don't know. They'll probably de-age them a little bit with the computer too.
Yeah.
Because they live they're so old. McKellen's 85.
Yep.
Stewart's 84. Like, yeah. So
you could have come up with an interesting way to bring back Iron Man in the way we kind of like proposed, but not at this scale where you have all these, like, make the story like a tight, like make it just about that, not like this characters everywhere that you got to have screen time, just like, and he would have been less expensive too, but
and especially throwing their D-listers from the last 4 or 5 bombs, the Shang-Chi's, the Namors,
you could have definitely woven
Black
the Fantastic
Panther,
Four,
but fake Captain America, like, just stop. So I wonder if this is going to be a cheap way to get the Chris Evans the Shield back.
I'm trying to figure out how they're going to handle the Chris Evans thing. Is it going to be a one-time thing where he's like the evil version of Captain America, like Nick Spencer wrote, and
oh god,
and Anthony Mack, the Falcon as Captain America beats him, and there's like, there you go, we know who's the better Captain America. It's actually Sam. That, or is Chris Evans going to come back for more? But either way, they're going to get backlash, because if they're going to come bring him back and give him the shield back, they're going to like, racist this and racist that. Unless it's in the comics, they eventually settled on having him both Captain America. And
they did. Yeah.
So
I don't know.
Which is stupid.
They better not do that. Steve Rogers, Agent of Hydra.
Oh, that was stupid.
Oh, that was terrible.
And by the way, they as soon as this current movie, it never really got off the ground, but as soon as they think this current movie doesn't become popular anymore, they're relaunching Steve Rogers as Captain America in the comics. Chip Zdarsky's going to do it, by the way.
Oh,
Uh, and the run with J. Michael Straczynski is one of my most disappointing things I've ever read, but that's beside the point.
I was just going to say, I'm not going to judge Chip Zdarsky's run on
Right.
Captain America until I read it, because
right, correct.
I thought
yeah.
JMS was going to nail Captain America,
Yeah.
and it was the worst run.
So they're waiting until this movie kind of goes on the way, and they're going to like in July, because they know who the real draw is. They just can't have them out there when they're trying to push
this new movie. And yeah, and you know, it's funny because since Ed Brubaker, nobody can write that character.
It's unbelievable.
The Rick Remender run was a disaster. The JMS run was a disaster. The Nick Spencer run was a disaster. Nobody can get this right. He's not difficult to write. He's kind of a one-note guy. He's a one-note character.
Yeah.
He's like Superman. He's a Boy Scout.
It's because they can't accept that he is generally a good
person.
He represents, the best of the best, and they don't want that. And it's like they somehow have their take on that. He can't be doing that. And how do we write? And every which way you write that he's not that is going to be a disaster. Yeah. So you have to write him how he is.
Yeah.
Or else it's going to be a disaster. So we'll see what happens.
Sadly, JMS nailed it. Like the last 3 issues finally got it right, and it was already canceled at that point. Because he brought in Thor and Spider-Man, and they went on this great adventure together. And it was fun, and,
why couldn't you
waiting for that the whole time, right? This stuff where they're doing magic and crap like Doctor Strange. I was like,
that doesn't go with Steve Rogers.
I was like, if Straczynski wants to write Doctor Strange, go write Doctor Strange. Don't write Captain America and make it a Doctor Strange comic. It just was stupid.
Maybe that's what he wanted, and instead they're like, well, we can give you Steve Rogers. Like, all right, I'll try to figure out a way to maybe, I don't know. It's like,
it's what it felt like.
I know he's a good writer.
Oh, he's a great writer.
He's definitely a good storyteller.
It just felt like he was writing for the wrong character.
Yeah.
So
it's too bad they couldn't bring some of these people back, like a Brubaker and a Jeff Johns and like Mark Miller, and they could revitalize that industry so quickly.
I know. Well, they kind of are with their own stuff, but
yeah, well,
it's got smaller distribution.
You see the talent that they do with their own stuff.
Yeah, for people watching, I can't recommend the Ghost Machine universe from Jeff Johns enough. It's really good stuff.
Well, he got that off the ground.
Yep.
And Mark Miller is so prolific. He's got like at least 7 or 8 stories that he gets out every year, and he gets them down. He gets them down into the full story thing. It's like either 5 or 6 issues, and he tells a story from beginning to end, and you're going to get the full thing.
Yep.
So and he has so many different ideas. I'm very intrigued at this announcement that he made, that in the summer he's coming out with something that he's partnering with John Romita Jr. And he only gave this clue, and it's a very like crazy clue. Is like, we found a hole in the comic book industry that needs to be filled. But it's like that's tons of stuff to me for him to find something interesting to. It's like it's got to be like, I don't know, way out there, I guess. I don't know. It's going to be good, whatever it is, but
I hope so.
Those two, with good art too. So,
well, JR's art has slipped a little bit, but what hasn't slipped is his layouts, his storytelling ability. But his art's gotten so sloppy loose. Like some of his stuff lately, I'm like, what? Of course, a lot of that has to do with his inker. So I blame Scott Hanna for a lot of that.
Maybe this will be a little bit different because it's not a Marvel DC thing.
Unless he brings Scott Hanna with him.
Oh, we'll see. I'll see. I'll be looking out for those announcements.
Yeah, we'll see about that. Well, that's all I got for this. You got anything else?
Yeah. Just I still can't answer your initial question at the beginning of this whole thing of what could they possibly think about making these type of decisions. I don't know. I don't see any way this could turn out well.
Wait till they double down on the Secret Wars.
Oh, right. They got that announced too.
Right afterward. That's got to be bigger than this. You have to keep going bigger, right?
Right. where all their villains will be actually good guys. And
This movie's going to have to, if the budget's 500, it's going to need 1.5 billion to kind of break even, just to make their money back. And I only see the ceiling for this. This will make over $1 billion. I can see it making like around 1.5. But do you want to go through all this just to break even?
Yeah, I definitely do not see it going to 1.5. I'll give you maybe reaching $1 billion, but unless something really attractive comes with the current track record where people are getting sick of these bombs or whatever, I can't see it going much above $1 billion. But who knows? I know that's just, we'll see. I'll probably wind up. I know I'm going to wind up going to see it.
Oh, I probably will too.
Just as a
out of
curiosity.
morbid curiosity.
Yeah.
But it'll be $5 Tuesday. No, I think I'll have to go. I'll try to go early, I think, when this does come out, because just if we wait until $5 Tuesday, it'll be like waiting a month as far as like YouTube and everything else.
Oh, right. Yeah, I want to go on opening day, and then I want to come on here and just like throw every single spoiler out there. Like, I don't care. Listen.
It's going to be interesting.
I mean, who knows? All of it's probably already. By the time it premieres, all the spoilers will be out there by.
Yeah, it's hard to hide rumors these days. So. But I am curious about Fantastic Four. I do plan on seeing that. But
I do too. And Superman too. But.
Yeah. Oh, Superman. I think Superman will be good. I know everybody's ripping on the guy in the suit and everything, but James Gunn has yet to fail me. So once until he does, he's got the benefit of the doubt.
Yep.
So.
All right.
So what do you folks think? Leave a comment below. Smash the like button if so inclined. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Doesn't cost you anything, right? It's free. We don't bug you. We won't spam you.
Yeah, definitely don't.
So, but it helps us on the other end, on the YouTuber end. So that'd be great if you could just go click.
I'd love to hear what other people have to say about this.
Yeah, I think most people feel like it's a Hail Mary. An expensive one.
Yeah, it feels like it.
Yeah. All right. So that's it for now. We will, of course, we'll keep tabs on this going forward. And, hey, if you made it all the way to the end, thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
Thanks for watching GeekTime TV. If you like this video, please subscribe to the channel. If you subscribe, make sure to check the little bell icon anytime someone from our network drops new content here. Want some GeekTime swag? Check out the merchandise available in the GeekTime TV store, linked in the channel description below. Share GeekTime TV with friends, and as always, thank you for your support. We'll see you soon.